Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, TGIF. Welcome back to the Empower Her Experience podcast, where healing meets real life. I'm your host, Christy Copeland, and today we are having a conversation that was a continuation of our podcast episode from last week. So, like, tag, share this morning because we are going deeper into our spring cleaning reset. Today, this is part 2, talking about clearing the life you've outgrown. We're going to talk about clearing the life that you've outgrown. So come on in, come on in. Good morning, Miss Dee Dee. Good morning, Miss Dee Dee. So today we are doing Spring Cleaning Reset Part 2. This is clearing the life that you've outgrown. Woo, this is going to be good today. So like, tag, share, bring your people in so that we can talk this morning. Now, let me just say this right away. This is absolutely a real thing. This is, maybe it's not a clinical term, but it is a powerful lifestyle shift. Like, this is a moment where you realize that something in your life feels heavy, cluttered, overwhelmed, and you are ready for a reset. And yes, we often think about, spring cleaning as cleaning out our closets and junk drawers and things about that. But today we're going deeper, because this isn't just about cleaning your house. This is about decluttering your life. Come on in, come on in. Let me know who's in here, where you coming from today. But most people think about clutter as cleaning out their closets and their garages and their storage bins. But the heaviest clutter in our life is often the invisible clutter. It's the mental clutter, the things that keep replaying over and over, the conversations that keep replaying over and over in your mind. It is the emotional clutter of holding on to guilt and resentment and responsibility for other people's feelings. It's the relational clutter of maintaining connections that drain you more than they nourish you. So here's the part that we don't always acknowledge. A lot of clutter does come from good intentions. Honestly, it comes from good intentions. You wanted to help, you wanted to show up, you wanted to be dependable, but somewhere along the way, what started as caring begins to turn into carrying. What started as care turned into carrying. And now you're tired, not just physically, but emotionally exhausted, because what you're carrying was never meant to live in your life permanently. Okay? So I told you this is going to be good. So come on in, tag, like, and share. Let's get this thing going. All right. So first I'm going to talk about the 4 layers of life clutter. We're going to break that down into more practical terms, because here's the truth. There are 4 layers of clutter in your life. And if you only clean one, then you're still going to feel overwhelmed. Okay? You're still going to feel overwhelmed, because clutter does not just live in one place. It shows up in your space, in your mind, in your heart, and in your relationships. So let's walk through each one, and more importantly, how to begin clearing them. Good morning, Miss Sherry. Good morning. So we're going to talk about how we can begin to clear these spaces out. The first space we're going to talk about is the physical space. We talked about that last week, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. But that's your home, your environment. Closets packed with things you don't wear, don't need. Drawers full of items that you forgot you even had. Counters covered in piles of things. Rooms that start to feel heavy instead of peaceful. And what many people don't realize is this: your environment is constantly communicating with your brain. It is constantly communicating with your brain. The clutter tells your brain there is more to do. You're behind. You're overwhelmed. So even when you're trying to reset, your body doesn't fully relax. So again, we talked about some of this last week, so I'm not going to stay on this very long. But let's begin to talk about decluttering your space. Not because I want this to feel doable, but because I want this to feel doable, not overwhelming. Okay. So you clear your space. Remember, we talked about this starting small. One drawer, one surface, one corner, not the whole house all at one time. The 3-question rule. Do I use it? Do I need it? Do I keep it? Does it add value? The keep, donate, and release. And then set a timer for 15 to 20 minutes so that it doesn't feel like a full day's task. And then focus on creating peace, not perfection. Because remember, the goal isn't a perfect home. The goal is to create a space that supports your peace. Come on in, y'all. Like, tag, and share. We got a good topic for you today. I'm excited to share this with you. So that is our physical clutter. The second type of clutter that we have is the mental clutter. This is the clutter that comes in your mind. This is constant overthinking. Who does it? Overthinking, worrying, replaying conversations, trying to predict outcomes that we have no idea how it's going to do, and then trying to solve things that haven't even happened yet. Just going over and over and over in our mind, getting stuck in this mental loop of overthinking. And let me say this gently, because just because you're thinking about it doesn't mean you're solving it. Okay? Oh my goodness. Just because you're thinking about it doesn't mean that you are solving it. In fact, a lot of times overthinking is mental clutter. This is just mental clutter wearing a disguise. Wow. Overthinking is just mental clutter wearing a disguise. It feels productive, but it's actually draining your energy. You use a lot of, I always tell my clients, you're using a lot of mental space on something that you can do nothing about. Hey, good morning, Angela. Yes, so overthinking is just mental clutter wearing a disguise. Even though it feels productive, it is draining your energy. And you would not believe how much wasted mental space we use every day when we could be doing something productive or using it for something productive on things that we can do nothing about. So I want you to declutter your mind today. We're going to do a spring cleaning on our mind. We're going to do a mind dump today. I want you to write down everything that's been sitting in your head. This is what I do in counseling. Write everything that's been sitting in your head, everything that you've been thinking about, and separate what you can control versus what you cannot control. Because that's a lot of our problem. We focus heavily on stuff we can't do anything about. We can't do anything about what people think about us, what they say, how they feel about us, the much amount of effort they put in our relationships. We can't do anything about how they choose to live their life, how they, what they value, and all. We can't do anything about those things. But guess what? Those are the things that we spend a lot of mental space trying to control. We worry about what they think about us, what they're gonna say. What can we do about that? Absolutely nothing. So I want you to do a mental dump today. Separate what you can and cannot control. What you can control is how you feel about things, what you think about things, how you let things affect you, how you set your boundaries, whether or not you forgive other people, how you choose to live your life. That's all you have control over. So make a list, do a mental dump, a mind dump. Write everything that's been sitting in your head and separate them to those 2 categories. And whatever you have in that category that says things I cannot control, I want you to dump that in the mental trash can. And then the things that you can control, I want you to focus on those things. Okay? All right. So somebody put that in the chat. I'm going to focus on what I can control. I'm going to focus on what I can control. When you focus on the things you actually can do something about, you know what? You actually take away a lot of the stress and the anxiety that's in your life. You actually will reduce a lot of that overthinking. Why? Because you're not spending time on things that you can't do anything about. So we're going to do the mind dump today and separate between what we can and cannot control. And then we're going to limit these mental replays. When I say that, we're going to set some boundaries with our thoughts. You know what? I've already thought about this. I've already visited this. I'm not about to go there again now. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to get caught up in this mental loop today. I'm not going to keep thinking about this and replaying it over and over in my mind. I've already done it. I'm done. So you're going to set a boundary with your mental, with your thoughts. And then you're going to reduce the input, the constant notifications and social media and the noise that add to the mental clutter. I'm not saying social media is bad, but there's got to be a limit. You know, some people stay on there all day. They are on there all day. I don't know how they do it because I don't have that time. But they're on there all day. And that adds to the mental clutter. So give your mind a rest. Silence is not empty. Silence is necessary. Sometimes we need solitude, y'all. And a lot of times the reason why it's so hard for people to do that is because they don't want to sit in their thoughts. They don't want to hear their thoughts. They don't want to think about. But if you want to find out if you really have peace or if your mind is cluttered, just sit real still and quiet. Real still and quiet and listen to your thoughts. See what those thoughts are. So we're going to do a mind dump and a mind rest today. Put that in the chat for when someone comes logging in. Mind dump and a mind reset today. Set boundaries with your thoughts, okay? Because your mind was not designed to carry all this stuff at once. Yes, I know we have like 80,000 thoughts a day. The average person has about 80 thoughts a day. But guess what? Your mind is not designed to carry all of that at once. Your mind needs space too. Your mind needs a break too. You know why sometimes we're hurting? We got all these ailments and our body is sore and achy. Our mind is worn out. Our mind needs a break and we need to give it rest. So our mind needs space too. Okay, the third type of clutter that I want to talk about, and I hope I'm not going too fast, is emotional clutter. This is your heart. This is concerning your heart. This is the weight that you feel, but you don't always express it. This is unspoken hurt. This is old resentment, guilt that you never release, disappointments that you never process, emotions that you just keep pushing down and you just keep functioning over it. And here's what happens. When your emotions aren't processed, they don't disappear. They are stored. I have a chapter in my new book called Growing in the Swamp that's coming out, and it talks about the alligators beneath the water. That's those emotions and that trauma that gets unresolved, and we think it's gone because we don't want to process it and deal with it. But all it does is it gets stored. And guess what? When its environment gets threatened, there you go. Now you're triggered by the trauma or the memory. And now we got a whole nother situation. Woo-wee. So somebody say, process it. Somebody put that in the chat. Process it. Process those emotions. Because what happens when you don't process them, when you don't deal with those emotions will become your identity. And when I say that, what I mean is they will start to show up in how you show up and how you behave, what you think and how you react. And what we don't want are feelings what is meant to be temporary feelings to become our identity. Process your emotions. So when you don't process them, they don't disappear, they store. They show up in your reactions. They show up in your tone. They show up in your patience, your capacity. And sometimes you're not overreacting. You're just carrying too much stuff that you haven't processed and allowed yourself to get rid of or to get through it. So I want to talk a little bit about how to declutter your heart. Yes, your heart can be cluttered. Trust me, it can be cluttered. When you think about it like a rug. You know, they have that saying, sweep under the rug. Well, I don't know if anyone's ever pictured that imagery, but I do. Hey, sis, Miss T is on. Hey, love you. How to declutter your heart is what we're talking about right now. But think about it. People say sweep under the rug. Think about an actual rug. I want you to picture this imagery. Think about a rug, and you take your broom and you're just sweeping every day. You're just sweeping underneath that rug. You're not getting rid of it. You're just sweeping, trying to hide it because you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to go through all that it takes to get rid of it. You're just sweeping. After a while, that rug is not going to be laying flat. That rug is going to have a heap. And guess what? Once it gets so high, it's not going to be able to hold it. Stuff's going to start falling out. Stuff's going to be all over the place. And you'll have a big old mess. That's what happens when you do not clear the clutter out of your heart. Hey, Miss Sheila. Thank y'all for tuning in today. So part of our spring cleaning this season is decluttering our heart, clearing out our heart, acknowledging these things that we feel without minimizing it. You know, I am a firm, y'all know I'm a believer. Y'all know I'm a Christian. Y'all know I'm saved. I always say I'm saved to the bone. But you know what? That hurt. But you know what? It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be. I used to be the world's worst about it. I'm good. And all the while, just internalizing all that stuff. Because somehow feeling like acknowledging that I'm hurt, acknowledging that this bothered me, somehow made me feel weak, or that I wasn't safe enough in a safe space to be able to say, you know what, that hurt. Like that really did hurt me. So what happens is we just stuff it. Hey, Robina, we just stuff it. And then we try to minimize it. Oh, but you know what? But it's going to be, yes, it's going to be okay. But guess what, sis? Don't minimize your feelings. Don't minimize your hurt. If you hurt, say, you know what? I'm hurt. If you feel disrespected, I feel disrespected. Why? Because naming it takes the sting out of it. When we minimize it or act like we're in denial, guess what? Stuff. And that heart continues to be cluttered. So you got to acknowledge what you feel without minimizing it. Name the emotion. Name it, because what you name, you can manage. But what you deny is going to sit right there. It ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. And I know I'm using improper grammar. But whatever you deny, it's not going anywhere. It's just going to sit there, and it's going to be like that alligator in my book, Growing in the Swamp. Underneath that water, it's just going to float along until boom, something triggers it or reminds you that, hey, you still hurt and you didn't deal with it. So you got to name that emotion, because what you name, you can manage. Another thing is really good. A lot of people say they don't like to do this, but guess what? It's just like talking, but you're doing it on paper or you're doing it on your phone. Journal what you've been hiding. Journal what you've been holding in. Good morning, Miss Gwen. You know, sometimes there are people who hurt us, right? There are people who hurt us, but we know that if we try to go and talk to them, we already know. Ain't no closure coming from that with them. They're not going to own up to it. They're not going to admit it, or you've tried to talk to them before, you try to tell them before, and they dismiss your feelings. And so a lot of times we'll walk around carrying that clutter in our heart because, well, I didn't get to talk to them. Well, I need closure. Guess what? Closure starts with you. You don't have to have a conversation in order to have closure. You are in charge of you getting closure. So some of these things, hey, Joy, hey, I love you. So you are in charge of getting your closure. So journaling. I always say this, you can write a letter to someone telling them all the things that they did to hurt you. You may never get them this letter, but guess what? You got it out. It's no longer in here. It's no longer holding on to that and stuffing it. You're actually getting it out, because journaling is just like sitting here talking to me, because all you're doing is getting it out. When you're talking, you're getting it out. When you're writing, you're getting it out. So your closure can begin with a closure letter. So you can actually get it out. Journal your thoughts, journal your feelings. And that's an opportunity to say whatever you want to say to that person without being interrupted, without feeling like your feelings are dismissed. And like I said, even if you never get it to them, because some people, they are not going to take accountability for what they did. Guess what? They'll hurt you, but they are not coming back to fix you. That is your job. That is your responsibility. You might not have caused the hurt, but the healing is your responsibility. So you got to do what you got to do to declutter your heart. So someone just put that in the chat, please. It's my responsibility. It's my responsibility. Because they broke my heart, but guess what? They are not coming back to fix it. My heart is broken, but whoever broke it, they're not coming back to do that. That's my job. That's for me and God. That's for me and a God thing. And so, first thing, acknowledge what you feel without minimizing it. Naming that emotion, because what you name, you can manage. Hey, Miss Jordanella. Oh, I got 2 joys on here. Today is going to be a joyful day. Name the emotion, because what you name, you can manage. Journal what you've been holding in. And then have the conversation or release the need to have it. Like I said, with everybody, you can't have that conversation because you already know their temperament is not going to do it. You already know they are narcissists and they're not going to own up to it. So sometimes you just got to release the need to have that conversation, or just have a conversation with God and tell him all about it. So that way you don't further re-injure yourself by dealing with people you know who are not going to acknowledge, yeah, I hurt you and I'm sorry. They're not going to do it. They're going to blame you. They're going to say that well, I did this because of you. That is not an apology. So sometimes you have to release the need to have that conversation. Another thing that we got to do to clear this clutter out of our heart is practice emotional release. This is through prayer. This is through therapy. This is moving around. Because you know what? Sometimes when you're just sitting around, just doing nothing, and all you're doing is replaying these things over and over in your mind, you are filling your mind and your heart with a bunch of clutter that does not have to be. So you can release that through prayer. You can release that through therapy. You can release that in movement. Say next. Release it through moving. Get up and move around. A lot of these emotions and things, we can get that out with moving. Matter of fact, if you haven't been to the Copeland Center, come there. Let me show you how to get it out of there. I can show you how to get it out of there at Copeland. But come through movement and stillness. We got all of that there. So even with just stillness. But like I said earlier, a lot of times we don't want to sit in that. We don't want to sit and actually feel that. I know feelings are uncomfortable. They can be very uncomfortable. Sitting in your hurt can be very uncomfortable. I heard somebody say the other day, they said, well, I don't know. I hear about this sitting in my emotions. Well, I can't sit around waiting on my emotions to come because it just hit me at all times. And I told them, like with grief, I said, let me tell you, what we're saying when we say sit in your emotions, we're not saying sit around and wait for an emotion to hit you. What we're saying is when it comes up on you, when those feelings of hurt or those feelings of sadness or that feeling of anxiety, whatever that feeling is, when it comes, allow yourself to just take a moment and stop and sit in it. Be able to identify what it is that you're feeling. That's the main thing. Recognize what you're feeling and allow yourself to process it. Why am I feeling this way? What am I feeling? And normalize it. Validate your own feeling. You know what? It's okay that I'm hurting right now. I lost somebody I love. It's okay that I'm feeling hurt right now. They did me wrong. It's okay that I'm feeling anxious right now because I got a lot of uncertainty in my life, a lot of things that I don't know how it's going to turn out. It's okay. It's okay to feel that. But that's what we mean when we say sit in it. And then after you acknowledge that and you allow yourself to feel it, cry it, scream it out, whatever you need to do in that moment. Y'all, let me tell you, I'll do that in a minute. Sometimes it'll hit me. If I'm in my car, I will pull my car over and stop and just let it out. I had to do it a couple of weeks ago. A wave of grief hit me. I had to pull over inside the road and just cry it out. I cried it out. And I said, God, this hurts. But I know this is not something I can control. I sat there. God gave me some peace. Boom. Got back on the road. Kept on driving. Went about my day. That's what I mean when I say about sitting in your feelings. Because sometimes you got to cry it out. Sometimes you got to scream it out. Sometimes you got to walk it out. Sometimes when I get really upset, well, before I hurt my ankle, I go outside and walk. Sometimes it takes me an hour to walk to calm down. But hey, I was not going to stop until I calm down. So sometimes you got to do that. You have to do whatever is necessary to maintain your peace and to not become emotionally cluttered and mentally cluttered. So you got to release these things, release the need for some things through prayer and therapy and movement and stillness. Because forgiveness is not always for them. I ain't going to say it's not for them. It's not always for them. But forgiveness is for your freedom. Sometimes we just need to let it go because you know what? We done been bound long enough. We've been holding on to that long enough. Been holding on to that for years. We need to be free. Anybody want to be free? Put that in the chat. I want to be free. I want to be free because healing is not about pretending it didn't hurt. I used to be like, you know what? I'm good. And I realized, no, you're not. Stop saying you good. You will be good. So now I say, you know what? I'm not, but I'm going to be. I'm not okay, but I will be. But because I want to be free. I don't want to live in denialville anymore. It's no longer, it's not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about no longer letting it take up space in you. Okay? All right. Let's go to this next. Oh my gosh. Now I'm glad ain't nobody in this room to throw tomatoes at me. So the last clutter I'm gonna deal with is the relational clutter. This is about your circle. This one is a big one. She said, girl, I need my sessions back. Let's do it. Come on. Let's get us a girl day. Go sit and talk. But relational clutter, your circle. This one is big because y'all, if everybody on here be honest, including myself, some relationships are draining. Do I have a witness? Walls and benches. Some relationships are draining. Good morning, Miss Audrey. They are draining. Obligations that no longer align with where you're going. Connections where you have to shrink, overextend yourself, or over-explain just to maintain them. And you know what? And if we're honest, some of us are overcommitted to people. We're overcommitted to people, but then we're disconnected from ourselves. We are so overcommitted to other people that we are disconnected from ourselves. We are always. I've been saying this lately. This is a season for me to let free some people. Some of us are addicted to helping people. We are so addicted to helping people that we become disconnected from our own selves. Woo! We're saying yes when we really want to say no, and then we frustrated with ourselves because why couldn't I just say no? I don't want to do this. I don't want to go. All of these things. And we showing up a lot of times out of obligation, maintaining roles that no longer even fit what we become or who we've become. We still trying to say Pookie from 12 years ago, and Pookie still doing the same thing. Still doing the same thing. And we still frustrated. Why are we still frustrated? Because we're still trying to save someone who doesn't want to be saved. They want to be rescued. They don't want to be changed. Just get me out of this for right now and go on. Leave me alone. Don't try to help me. Don't try to help me to change. Just rescue me and leave me alone. So, and then answer the next time I call you. And it becomes a cycle. Addicted to helping people. They ain't even ask for your help. They just told you they got a problem and automatically you're trying to fix it. You're offering a solution when all they wanted was a listening ear. So we got to examine the relationships in our lives because some of these roles that we're still allowing ourselves to sit in, they don't even fit where we've become now. We're wasting all this oil, all this time, all this energy, and all this sleep in cycles of relationships that no longer serve you. Not saying they can't, I'm not saying because they can't do anything for you. That's not what I'm saying. But a lot of times we spend our time rescuing. There is a difference between creating codependent relationships where all you're doing is rescuing and actually helping people. There is a difference. So let's talk about this. How we need to declutter our relationships. First thing, evaluate how you feel after these interactions with these people. Woo! I'm using such bad grammar today. Evaluate how you feel after these interactions. Do you feel drained or do you feel nourished? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I told you I'm gonna get in trouble today. Do you feel drained or do you feel nourished? Every time you see them, when you leave them, if you feel heavier than what you did when you came in their presence, you need to evaluate their relationship. And I'm not saying cut them off, but there may be a conversation that needs to be had. There may be some boundaries that need to be set there. Because if every time you come in their presence and you leave and you're like, oh my gosh, I just feel so heavy, there is something going on there. They are draining you. So evaluate how you feel after your interactions. Yes, drained. Am I drained or do I feel nourished? Do I feel discouraged or do I feel uplifted today? Identify those relationships that require you to abandon yourself. Oh my goodness. I forgot that I put that in there. Identify relationships that require you to abandon yourself. If I got to stop being me to be cool with you, guess what? Do y'all like my friend E. Dewey Smith? Bye-bye. You should not have to abandon yourself to be in certain relationships, in certain circles. If they don't accept you for who you are, that's not the one for you. That is not the one for you. You should not have to do all of this, changing, flipping, flopping, doing back flips, front flips, all of that, round offs. Y'all, I used to be a cheerleader. All of this stuff just to be able to be in circles that you probably don't belong in anyway. So identify relationships that require you to abandon yourself. Because if you can, then guess what? You can exit them. You set boundaries without over explaining when you declutter your relationships. You know what? I'm not going to give you 10 excuses why I couldn't make it. I could make it. I'm not fixing to give you 5 different reasons why I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm just not going to do it. You've come and you've asked for money 20 times, and the next day here you come asking for more money. I'm not going to give you 5 excuses why I'm not giving you any more money. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to give you any. But I will tell you, you need to manage your money better. So setting boundaries without over explaining. So many times we feel like we just got to over explain. You know where that comes from? People pleasing. We feel like we got to do that because if we do, people gonna leave. Well, guess what? If they leave, that means that relationship was a conditional relationship. Who wants conditional relationships? Oh, you only cool with me because of what I can do or because I show up. But the minute I can't do what you need, now you have no use for me. Guess what? Bye-bye. That's a conditional relationship. I'm looking for unconditional love in this season. I am looking for mutual relationships in this season. Y'all, it's time out for these one-sided relationships. Somebody put that in the chat. No more one-sided relationships. And this doesn't mean I go spend $1,000 on you. That means I'm looking for you to spend $1,000. No, that's not it. That just means I'm not in this. I don't feel like I'm in this relationship all by myself. That means just showing that not only are you okay taking, but you'll give something back, even if it's an encouraging word, even if you're just going to pour into me. It's not about what you can give me. It's about the fact that you value this relationship enough to have a mutual relationship, a mutual partnership. No more one-sided relationships. And another thing that we can do to declutter our heart is reduce access where necessary. Oh my gosh. I wish I could run. I really do. Reduce access where necessary because not everyone needs the same level of you. Oh gosh. Not everyone needs the same level of you. Let me tell you. And somebody might be like, oh, that is arrogant. No, it's not arrogant. Take a page out of Jesus' book. You know, I like to throw that in there when y'all try to come for me about things I say. Jesus did it. He didn't give everybody the same level of him. He had them 5,000 who he knew was going to show up because they wanted what he had, right? He had his 12 who walked with him on a daily basis, who helped him to fulfill the mission. But guess what? Then he had those three that he only took in those intimate moments. Why? Because everybody does not deserve the same level of you. Everybody doesn't need the same level of you because everybody can't handle the same level of you. And when you got people on the wrong levels in your life, you're giving them the wrong type of access in your life. Guess what? That's where your frustration sets in. Why? Because you got them in the wrong place. They need to be moved to another level, but not that one. Not everyone needs the same level of you. Release the need to be everything to everyone. Give yourself permission to outgrow spaces, to outgrow certain roles that you've been holding on to for years, to outgrow certain relationships. And when I say outgrow, it doesn't mean you cut everybody off. You just don't give everybody the same level of you. You reduce access where it's necessary. That's what I mean when I say give yourself permission to outgrow spaces and roles and relationships. Because sometimes we immediately think that's cutting them off. You can't cut everybody off because you cut everybody off, then you're going to be looking around wondering why everybody left. Where is everybody? You cut them off. You cut them off. So reduce access where necessary because not everyone needs the same level of you. I know it's some more people that need to hear this, y'all. So if you know somebody, go on and tag them in. Let's get them in here. And so, but we are still dealing with relational clutter, removing that because every relationship in your life should not cost you your peace. If every relationship in your life costs you your peace, you are around the wrong people. You need a whole new circle. Let me say this clearly. Healthy relationships don't require you to shrink. You don't have to shrink. You don't have to dim your light. Healthy relationships give you room to be you. They give you room to be who God called you to be, who God designed you to be, who God made you to be. These healthy relationships gives you room to shine. They're not intimidated by your shine. They don't require that you have to change a certain way to fit their mold in order to be in their circle. Healthy relationships don't require that. Those are unhealthy relationships and control. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody got time for that. So again, when we talk about spring cleaning reset, we're not just talking about organizing closets, y'all. We're talking about creating space in every area of your life so that peace, clarity, and growth can actually have somewhere to live. A lot of times we got them so cluttered with these things that there's nowhere for peace to live. There's nowhere for clarity to live. There's nowhere for joy, no pun intended, for joy to live. So now I want to talk about this part. Now this is heavy. Why we struggle to let go. So part of the reason why it takes us so long to get this clutter out because we're struggling. We're struggling to let go. I see this all the time in counseling. People don't hold on to things because they're strong. They hold on to things because they're afraid. They're afraid of being looking selfish, being seen as selfish. They're afraid of disappointing somebody. They're afraid that if they keep holding everything together, that everything's gonna fall apart. They're afraid that if they say no and they start to clear out some of this clutter, that people are going to leave, that they're not going to want to have anything to do with you anymore, that they're going to reject you. But guess what? Who wants conditional love anyway? So I want to offer you this truth today. Holding everything together might actually be what's keeping you from living freely. Because when your life is overcrowded with responsibilities that belong to everybody else, then your peace has nowhere to sit. Where's your peace going to sit when your life is overcrowded with everyone else's responsibilities? Your joy has nowhere to grow. Your purpose has nowhere to stretch. And eventually, guess what? You burn out. You get compassion fatigue, the cost of caring. You get frustrated. You start feeling resentment, wondering, why am I coming to everybody's aid and I feel the way I feel and nobody's helping me? They don't think you need it because you're coming to everybody else's rescue. So resentment is showing up. Emotional fatigue, just emotionally draining, not because you're weak, but because your life has run out of space. Y'all know what happens when you got a computer? So y'all, I had a MacBook. I paid all this money for this MacBook. And I was, saving all my stuff, doing all this work on there. And then one day, just out of nowhere, my MacBook would just shut down in the middle of me working. And usually it happened in the middle of a counseling session or when I was doing something really important. The MacBook would just shut down. And I was like, I paid too much money for this MacBook to be shutting down like this. Why is this happening? Guess what, y'all? I found out. The MacBook was shutting down because it had run out of space. I had too much clutter on the MacBook. And because I had too much clutter on there, it did not have the capacity to hold everything I was trying to do. So it just started shutting down on me. Well, you're not going to stop adding stuff to it. So guess what? I'm going to shut down on you. That's what happens with our emotions, our physical body, all of these things, our mental. We keep adding all this clutter and we only have so much capacity. So guess what? Shuts down. Our body starts shutting down. Our mind starts shutting down. You can't remember anything, can't retain any memory, you can't focus, you can't concentrate, you're having trouble sleeping. That is your mind saying, you got too much clutter. You need to dump. Do a mind dump. You need to free up some space. So I'm not telling you these things to for you to hurt, for you to hurt, or hello, Shawana. I'm not telling you these things so that you can hurt other people. I'm telling you this so you can save yourself. Because when you become emotionally fatigued, you're not weak. It's just that your life has run out of space. Your mental has run out of space. And so I'm almost done with this, but I want to address this before I leave. The cost of caring too much. So I just talked about the emotional fatigue and the compassion fatigue and all of those things about caring too much. But let's talk about what this looks like in real life. You start being irritated by things that never used to bother you. Even the smallest of requests start to feel overwhelmed. You're tired even when nothing major has happened. You ain't done nothing. You woke up tired. You done slept for 8-9 hours and you woke up exhausted. That's what it looks like, carrying too much. Being irritated all the time. And sometimes you find yourself asking the question, why do I feel so connected from myself? I don't feel like myself. That's because you're carrying too much. You need to do some spring cleaning and declutter. And here's why. Your energy has been distributed everywhere except for where it belongs. So when you feel disconnected from yourself and you don't feel like yourself, that's because your energy has been distributed everywhere but where it belongs. You've given attention to everywhere else. Your attention is tied up in conversations that don't help grow you. Your compassion is stretched across people who don't even value it. They don't even care. They just take what you do, take what you give them. They go on about their business until the next time they need you, and boom, there it is. This is why you feel disconnected from yourself. Your time is filled with obligations that don't even align with your purpose. This ain't even your assignment, but yeah, you're taking it on. And so when everything becomes a priority, nothing actually is. Woo. Oh my gosh. So these are signs that you need to reset your home and your life. You feel overwhelmed when you walk into your space. You're constantly looking for things physically, mentally. Your environment feels cluttered, and so does your mind. You keep saying, I'm going to get to it later, but later never comes. And what happens is the clutter begins to build slowly in your mind, in your space, in your heart, in your relationships. But what's happening to your peace? What about that peace? That peace can return by making one small decision at a time. So you know what? I'm not going to interfere with this. I'm not going to rescue today. I'm going to let God do his job today. I'm going to stop trying to do it for him. So your peace can start to return one small decision at a time. So we are going to this spring, we're springing forward and we're making room for what matters. Making room for what matters. We are creating space because every time you release the stuff that does not belong to you, you are creating space. You're creating space for peace, for clarity, space for joy, space for you. So somebody put that in the chat. I'm creating space today for good things, not for things that drain you, not from things that tell you need to shrink, not from things that have you all over the place, disconnected from yourself. But we're creating space for peace, joy, clarity. I'm creating space for me today. And with that said, do something for yourself today. Do something for yourself today that you normally wouldn't do. Take yourself out to eat. I think I'm going to take myself out to lunch today. Take yourself out to eat today. Go spend some time walking in the park. I'm sure it's a pretty day. I haven't been outside today, but I'm sure it's beautiful today. I heard it's supposed to be. Do something for you today, because just one small decision like that can help your peace to return back to you. And I thank y'all so much for tuning in. And before I log off, I want to remind you all that May the 30th, very special day, drum roll, May the 30th, Growing in the Swamp is coming out. Y'all, you got to get your copy of this book. You got to get your copy of this book. Matter of fact, I thought I had one right here, but I guess I don't. But you got to get your copy of this book. Growing in the Swamp is going to help so many people. I believe it. This is about me learning how to grow in the swamp, me navigating the swamp, making some mistakes, but hey, nevertheless, I grew in the swamp. And so May the 30th, I'm going to release Growing in the Swamp at the Exhale Experience. Now, I know they were working on my website, so please don't go on there and purchase it because it is now free. Hey, it's free. Do not purchase it. If it says to register for $20, don't do that. Just go down to where it says contact us, put your name, your email address and things, and say that you want to be registered for the Exhale Experience. Y'all, you don't want to miss this. We're going to have some soft girl energy in the room. When I tell you it's going to be an evening, and yours truly, I'm going to do some mental health with the Growing in the Swamp But most of all, we're going to have some fun, y'all. We're going to have some fun. We're going to play some games. We're going to have some girl talk. I'm going to have so much set up in that room for you to do. This is going to be something you've never experienced before. So I don't want you to miss it, especially because it's free now. It was a $20 registration fee, but you know what? I always like to listen to God, and I had my ear to heaven, and He told me to make this free. So y'all, all you gotta do is register though. You do have to register because I do have to know how many people are coming, because I always like to make sure that I have everything I need for whoever's coming. You still have to register, but you don't have to pay. So go to the empowerherorganization.com/events. Go to our page today. I think it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, but go to our page today, and where it says contact, until they get the website fixed, whatever they're doing with it, just go on there and leave us a message and say, I want to register for the Exhale experience, and we will get you registered and get you your confirmation email. But you don't want to miss this event. It's May the 30th from 6:30 to 9:30, and I never tell y'all something's gonna be good and it's not. This is going to be amazing. So you need to be in the room. Invite your friends, invite your sisters, invite your aunties, your cousins, because it's ladies only. But y'all can get books for your brothers, your uncles, your husbands, your boyfriends, whatever. But make sure you are in this room. Please don't be that one that says, "Oh, I wish I had gone." Come experience it. You will not be disappointed. It is open to the public. It is, if you got young ladies who may need it, because you know what, we don't need to wait till they're adults to try to help them to fix themselves. They can learn now. So, but come and enjoy this evening with me. Celebrate me releasing this book and getting through that journey of navigating that swamp, because y'all, it was not easy, and you will get some insight onto what my mental was like during this process. And so, which normally a lot of people don't know. They see you smiling, they don't know what you're going through. So, but I want you to get your copy of this book. And then also I want to invite you personally to the Empower Her Experience 2026. We're coming back again, live and in person. June 26th and 27th, we've got an amazing lineup of speakers. And this year it's going to look a little different than what it has been looking. And so it's going to be great though. It's going to be great. And I thank y'all so much. I thank you for tuning in. Y'all have been amazing. Thank y'all for the interaction. Y'all have made my day. I was super tired before I got on here, but I am energized and I'm ready to go enjoy this beautiful day. And well, right after physical therapy, but I'm going to enjoy this day and do something for myself. I want you to do something for yourself. And most of all, I want you to be amazing today. Have a blessed weekend. I love you all. Stay blessed. Bye, everybody.